Uh, so I hate to literally, not literally, figuratively beat this dead horse to infinite death, but the meaning of life, besides true love and procreation, protecting the ones you love, all the noble virtues that we celebrate when they fall in line with those behaviors, aside from culture, on a fundamental level, on an absolutely mechanical level, what is the meaning of life? Hydrogen. I think it's right. I think hydrogen might be more important than even electrons. I think the DNA would be satiated in a hydrogen bath with no quantum complaints before it would be happy without any movement, without any energy. So yeah, really, as discussed in the previous conscious stream in the past 3 or 4 videos, life is essentially a reproducing DNA strand that has arisen from a semi-self-reproducing amino acid strand. And I only say semi because it's not being attributed as alive, more like a quantum magnetic feature of life driven by shape and environment. Presumably, I don't want to pretend to fully understand the phenomenon, but that ultimately gives rise to DNA, and DNA ultimately gives rise to the organelles that protect the DNA, and these organelles produce energy and microenvironments for the sole purpose of reproducing. And at the heart of this is the DNA strand. And besides the actual amino acid groups that seem to be reproducing as a feature of their very nature, this basically consists of excess hydrogen bonds. Ergo, by providing excess hydrogen to our DNA, we are giving it what it needs, like the purest form. It's so primary. It is arguably, I'm making the point here, this is off the chain, fully off the chain. Hydrogen bonds, specifically in the DNA, but hydrogen as an element is more fundamental to life Maybe not life in movement, but life itself, than even oxygen. Oxygen, instead, is a far more abundant fuel we use to drive an electrolysis machine to produce the hydrogen and the energy to reproduce and protect our DNA. Because we can't protect, maybe not because, maybe it's optimal, but in the absence of all that oxygen, arguably the DNA would be just as heavy, not in movement, but fully preserved as DNA in a hydrogen atmosphere. I mean, yeah, that's basically the meaning of life, is to preserve those bonds and to replicate those bonds. But ultimately, replicating those bonds is a function of preserving those bonds. So providing excess hydrogen is like doing half the job that the oxygen was doing. So the primary job of the oxygen is to reproduce the DNA, right? That's, you want to grow. And as long as you're growing, all is well, right? You're preserved. As long as your cells are reproducing, your DNA is preserved. But in that process, there's a lot of grind gears. And those grind gears are broken hydrogen bonds. At the end of the day, you can get there a lot of ways. Cells die. The DNA within them is dysfunctional because of broken bonds. Always. So, the second function, and it doesn't even do it as good, the second function of that oxygen and sugar, the metabolism, is the electrolysis. And that is the hydrogen producer, primarily, besides your gut bacteria. And that is essential, but it's not primary, because primary is the reproduction. But it doesn't have to be, necessarily. It does in this environment, so we can manipulate the environment. So, that's it.